Okay, it's time to try today's CSS Battle. Let's see what we've got. Okay, that could be tricky. Now, what do we want to do? I'm going to... Hmm. Yeah, I think the pink and the white are all the same size. So let's see what we get if we use. Let's start with a blank template, and then let's do a conic gradient. How high is this? 20? Yeah, 20, and it's 170, 230, so 60 wide. So at 70 pixels, 20 pixels, 25% pink. Let's actually use a repeating conic gradient, and then let's do transparent to 50%. That should get us that. And then let's not move it at all first of all. We'll make it 140 by 40. And that should get me the checkerboard. Now let's shift it across by what looks like 30 pixels. I think it's only 20. Let's try 25. Let's just check where that is. Oh, okay, those might be slightly narrower than I thought, so let's try that. Well, that is supposed to be 60, and then this should be 120. Now how far out are we? Probably by that much. Let's... right, we want to shift it to the right by 10 pixels, I think. Oh, no. How about if we shove it over by 40, 50? Right, okay, that's good. In fact, that's very good, because that actually lines up with everything else that we want. Now then, we want that chunk there to go to the white, so let's use a linear gradient in that colour. Shove it down, yeah, 120, and we want it across 170. So 170 pixels, 120 pixels. We want to make it 60 pixels high, and we want a no repeat on it. Not 60 pixels wide, well, actually 60 pixels wide as well as 60 pixels high, which will clear out that bit in the middle. Beautiful. We also want to set the absolute background of this to that colour. Now, what else do we need to cut out? A fair chunk. This is definitely not the best way of doing this, because we're going to end up with a lot of messing about. But as I've started, let's carry on. We are going to actually declare that linear gradient as that for now. We're just going to take this bit, and then we're going to, because we're going to use it more than once, it should save us some characters, but it's not going to be great. Actually, I'm tempted not to use that here. Let's have a think about this, because maybe I can cover up some stuff in a slightly better way. Let's make that this actually goes downwards. So let's, okay, let's take that, put that back there, get rid of that, then make this a linear gradient of that colour. Now then, how many do we need to go? 4, I think. 1, 2, no, 3. So 360s is 180 pixels. We also want to do this at 90 degrees, and then transparent, and we want to leave it on the left, and at the top we then want to make it 180 pixels wide and only repeat X. We want 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Let's make it 120 pixels high. That's not quite what we want. 60, 120, 180. Ah, this should have been 240 wide. 220, 230. That's not good. Oh, okay, so this is slightly off center. Okay, cool. We want that gradient again, so let's actually take all of this part and put it into G, and then we'll do there. Then we'll copy this line, and this time round actually that number needs to come out. Then we do 0 on the first one, and we do 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160, 180. About 180 pixels down. Right, that gets us fairly close already. What's that giving us? That's only... Oh, we only need to get rid of the two outsides. Oh, well. That's simple enough. We will just use another linear gradient at 90 degrees. We'll do the off-white for 60 pixels and then transparent of 0. And then we will not shift it at all and make it 400 minus 60, so 340 pixels wide. That I still forgot this is actually because it's still offset by a little bit, but rather than doing an offset there, we'll do the offset there. This should be 100%. Let's have a look. That is 100%. So let's have a quick look at this. This is going to be 30 VW. That's 5 VW. 30 VW. 230 isn't divisible by 3 or 4. 180 is divisible by 4. It'll be 45 VW, I think. So let's try that. That looks good. 120 is definitely 30 VW. 350 is just annoying. Could I do it as a percentage? What would it be? I don't think I can do it as a percentage because it'd still be off. But let's try 90%, see what happens. That's too much. 88, 87. No, see, 87 then cuts into that. So annoyingly, I think it'd need to be 87.5 to make it work. And that doesn't save us any characters over 350 pixels, 350px. Now, what we could do is change this to Q values. So 6.3s is 18, 21. So add 21 to 50, and we've got a Q value of 371Q, which should have been perfect. Yeah, but it's not. See, 100 pixels is 106Q. So 200 would be 212Q, 300 would be 318Q, then you would add so hang on, 318 plus 53, 318, 321, 331? No, that can't be right. 3, no, 381Q, 71. 70 is just too short. 71. 71 in theory should be perfect, but I can see in the diff things that don't look right. Let's see if it does. Yeah, you see, that's annoying. So 350 pixels, 170 not divisible by 4 or 3, so I can't really crunch that either. Bit of a shame. Okay, so minify, see what we can get for an exact match, and then we might try it a slightly different way by using maybe 2 elements. Maybe 3 elements. No, maybe 2 elements. Maybe 2 elements. Okay, what we're going to do is use my element template. Now then, the background is clearly not that colour, it's this colour. And first off, we're just going to move this into place. We're also going to get rid of all margins, which I think we can do like that. Yeah, okay. Now, I want to shift the margin in. Let's do 50-50 first. Right, 50-50 is too much. That top actually wants to be 0, probably. That's interesting that that's exactly 50, but we're not going to touch that with a barge pole for now because we want this to be all the way in. So we're going to go in by 6120, so that should be 170, and that should just get that line. And then if we go in from the top and the bottom by 20, not sure why the bottom didn't come in. Oh, because height is 100%. Okay, we're actually going to make height a different value. So we're going to take 40 off of 300 and get 260, which is shorter anyway, so that's great. We like that. We're then going to set this background to a linear gradient. We are going to do the pink for 20 pixels, and then transparent with a stop. We're going to move it nowhere. We're going to make it 100% wide and 40 pixels tall. No. What has that done? Why has that started there? Okay, let's do 0, 0, then it'll match up. Okay, so that means we've got that whole middle line sorted with just one linear gradient. That's good. Now we need a second P. So we do P plus P. We'll set this background also to red. We'll move its margin up by 280. It's too far. What we need it to do is line up with, I think this middle line here would be good. Yeah, I think that middle line there would be good. So how far? 120, so 200. About 180. 180 gets us onto that bottom. That looks good. We might actually make this 3 separate bits as of yet. Let's bring in the sides. So what's that going to be? 170 is too far. 110. Let's have a look at 110. Yeah, 110 would be good. And set its height to be 40, no, 60. Right, that will then get us those. So I think what we want to do at this point is set this to a conic gradient. Now then, of pink for 25%, and then off-white for the rest. Do 0, 0 and make it 120 pixels wide and 40 pixels high. And then instead of that 0, let's do minus 60 pixels, and that should get us that middle, so that's quite nice. These are much better numbers to play with. Now, how do we want to do those two outside lines? What we could do is, could we cheat? Or do we want to put one more in? If we set that bottom margin to 0, then this is actually going to be 160. could use a linear gradient for the outsides. On another P element. So let's add one more P. And let's do P plus P plus P. Do its background as, let's make it red first. Then its height is going to only be 20 pixels. Margin is going to be minus 60. Nope. The side's going to be 50 anyway. So this is going to be 120. 120 would be perfect. Could we cheat? Take away the background. That would then use the conic gradient. We don't really want it to do that. Although that's useful in one way, it's really not useful in another, unless we stack these in the other order. If we stack these in the other order, does it fix everything for me? If I make that P plus P and then that P plus P plus P, then this one wants to be minus 160. It's not quite that far. We'd also need to move that onto here. 160, 140, 130, 120, 130. Let's see if that actually lines up anywhere near. I think that's 140. Okay, and then this does not want to be 160, maybe 120, 100. 100 would be perfect. Now then, can I save anything by making the margin a variable is the question. Let's just move that over to there first. Right, we're at 381 characters as it is, so let's see what happens if I do that and then just go what did I say it was before? Because now it's 384. What did I have it before I took the margin? 381, so it was shorter without doing that. Okay, cool. In which case we will leave that like that. We'll change the 120 pixels to 30 VW. Uh, 60 pixels would be 20. Yeah, that's not. That doesn't need a thingy. That doesn't need. Well, that does need a semicolon, but that doesn't. we minify that, that's going to be better than my better score, than my other best score, by quite some margin. Let's take that out. Is there anything else we can crunch down? Might be able to change body for an ampersand. Oh god, no. Maybe a star. Star works. Conic gradient. That looks good. Saved 4 whole characters more. Okay. Is there anything else that I could smash into oblivion? Well, hang on a minute. Let's see if we can do something absolutely ridiculous. Let's actually copy that conic gradient from there onto there. Can we use the same conic? Ho-ho! I think we can use the same conic gradient everywhere. So let's get rid of that. Oh, that's such a nice conic gradient. And then we're only messing with the height and the margins. We'll also change that to a star. Can I save that by replacing the minus without a minus? Yes, we can. Hoo-hoo. Right, let's just check that this is still valid. But yeah, we have now used the same conic gradient for all 3 elements as background. This third one is the only one high enough where the repeat works in this way, which is beautiful. This one, what we've got is something interesting, and I'm not sure how that one works. But I also don't really care, because it works. Oh, it's because this middle one is overlapping. Yes, 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 yes. So this one has actually got a pink bit just there, but because this box over the top is covering it, this is where the 25% box comes in. Oh, that is nice. I like it. I like it. Let's minify and submit. That's not a bad score. There's probably some more optimizations, but I am certainly not seeing them. I'm fairly sure if I take this background off, everything will go horribly wrong. Yeah, because now all this outside is the wrong colour, and we cannot shorten that. So yeah, that is where we're just going to check that I haven't broken it. But yeah, that is where I'm going to leave it for today. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.